When life feels overwhelming and there's so much going on and you just feel like you can't really get it together, it can be very frustrating. And there are so many big picture things that you can do, more long-term changes that probably need to be made, some more thought you need to put into kind of how you have things set up in your life. And that's great and needs to be done. But sometimes we need a quick win. Sometimes we need something that we can fix, solve, do, achieve, accomplish today, right now, relatively quickly. And so that is what I'm going to share with you in today's video. Some very realistic, quick win type things. These are the kind of actionable things that you can start doing right now today in your home. And if you hear a little chirping, I have a whole brooder full of baby chicks out here in the cabin with me. There's not much I can do. Hopefully it feels like ambiance and not annoying. If not, please forgive me. It's baby chick season. And unfortunately, they're not paid actors, so I don't get to tell them what to do. They don't listen. First thing that you have to remember, and I never want to put more pressure on moms who already feel a little bit overwhelmed and like the pressure of everything is on them. When we can really internalize this and understand it, I think it can be the biggest motivating factor for changes, as well as the biggest motivating factor for letting go of stuff that doesn't really matter, okay? Because you are the stable goat. I know, right? How nice to call you a goat. Moms are so often the controllers of the atmosphere in the home. You set the pace. If you don't know what a stable goat is, it's a goat that stays in the stables with racehorses who are often very high strung and they have a really hard time calming down. They can be very anxious. And so they'll put a goat in with them and they become the stable goat. They're like their little calming goat. They're the one that helps them stay calm, remain focused, not freak out, not feel alone. And I feel like so often as moms, that is pretty much our job, is we're trying to help sort of regulate everything that's going on in our home. And while that can feel overwhelming at times, it's such a critical and important role. And even if the rest of the world never sees the value in that, that doesn't mean that you can't. And you can rest assured that you know the importance of your role, you know the value of your role, and that's all that matters. First up are some cleaning shortcuts. These are some of my favorite. If you have not already implemented a 10-minute tidy in your home, I highly recommend it. I actually have a whole separate video teaching you exactly how to do this, how to implement it. I will link that down below in the description box. But the main takeaway, the main thing to know with a 10-minute tidy is that we're setting a timer for 10 minutes and we are doing as much as we can in one area, one room. Maybe you just have one part of your house that's driving you nuts, one area that's driving you nuts. These 10-minute tidies are powerful. I have used them for what is it going to be this year? 19 years that I've been married. For the 19 years that we've been married, this is something that I've always implemented in some capacity or another, is some kind of quick, clean, 10-minute tidy. And it's a great way to kind of quickly reset an area, reset a room. Many of us are much better at achieving things when they are time bound. So giving ourselves that 10 minutes and setting that timer, it's great visual aid for kids. I highly recommend testing out the 10-minute tidy if you've not already. The newest thing that I've implemented in my own home is to add a cleaning cart. I ordered like a 3-tier cart off Amazon. I'll link down for you in the description box what I've ordered and kind of how I've put it together. And this has really been helpful for me because I do have a few cool cleaning gadgets and things like that I like to have just one place where I can roll my cart around. We do have a lot of bathrooms. It's a weird thing about our house. We have more bathrooms than we do bedrooms. The house was built in the 1930s and it was added on to, and I think the previous owners were kind of had bed and breakfast intentions. So we have a lot of bathrooms. And bathrooms are, especially when you have 8 children, can be not so fun to clean. And my kids have chores and they help out, but the cleaning cart makes it a lot easier because I can just scoochie around to all of the rooms. I made sure to get a cart that was light so that once I put all of my cleaning stuff on it, it doesn't become so heavy that I can't carry it up the stairs relatively easily. It's great. It allows me to kind of corral my cleaning supplies in one place and to have my little gadgets and stuff, because previously I had stuff under the sink, in the laundry room. Again, we have an older home, so it doesn't have all the giant walk-in closets and pantries, giant laundry room with shelves and cabinets galore. So I have to get kind of creative, and what I have found is having one central location for a lot of this stuff makes it really easy. Depending on your personality type, another thing that has really helped me, gets me through those 10-minute tidies, also just helps motivate me and keep me focused, is to have something I love to listen to in my ears. I love to listen to podcasts. I love to listen to YouTube videos where I'm I'm not even watching the video, I'm just listening. And so I put something in my headphones and I always want to call them earbuds. I think that's a dog movie. AirPods, or some other type of headphone, and clean. It's great because of the way my brain works. That is like distracting my brain while my hands can just do the cleaning things and not really think about it. It's been really helpful for me. I know my sister and I always joke about this. It irritates her. She can't listen to podcasts and stuff. It irritates her to have somebody like talking in her ear. She doesn't like it at all. So we kind of have this like funny joke because I consume so many audiobooks and podcasts and things like that, and it's really beneficial for me, but for her, it's irritating. So maybe having music, like the ambiance, right? So like a Bluetooth speaker or something that's playing music. This all kind of goes into the atmosphere, but it's just like a little encouragement. It's a little thing that I like to do, that it's an extra step, yes, to turn on music. It's an extra step to find something to listen to. For me, the extra steps are worth it. I'm a big believer in making even the mundane tasks fun and enjoyable, and we can absolutely do that. I don't want to be a miserable person, so I like to try to inject a little bit of joy and fun, that kind of feeling, to sort of romanticize things, light candles, do all of that. That makes a big difference for me in how mentally I'm thinking about things. That kind of brings me very nicely to the next point that I want to encourage you on here, and what I feel is a very realistic piece that often gets left out, and that is caring for yourself as a mother, a wife, a homemaker. What does that look like? The word self-care has gotten kind of a bad rap, and it has been, thrown around a bit like both a sword and a shield for people. We've kind of confused really what that exactly means. It is incredibly important to take care of not just your physical space, but your heart, your body, your soul. When you don't feel good in your skin, it makes you not want to show up sometimes. It makes you not want to show up to places, to be a part of photographs. And while we all have those moments, I definitely think it's worth doing things to care for yourself so that you don't have to feel that way. These are two things that I do and try to kind of focus on in this like spring, summer season. One of those, as silly as it sounds, is applying some self-tanner. I live in the South. The sun is very hot here. It can really damage your skin and it can be too much. I'm trying to take better care of my skin, something that I did not do in my younger years. Hello, laying out covered in baby oil. Terrible idea, but I'm trying to be better about taking good care of my skin. So I like to use self-tanner because it makes me feel more confident to have a little bit of color and a little bit of a tan. I just feel better and I feel more confident. I take the time like once a week to slap on a little bit of tanner. I would be lying if I didn't tell you that sometimes I just give myself a farmer's tan by only tanning my arms, leg, face, neck, and leave the rest of it, because why bother? No shame in my game there. That's just kind of how I roll. And then the other thing that I've been doing, which is so simple and easy and something very easy for me to add into my routine. That's the thing. If it's complicated, if it's too much, I won't do it. I might do it for a week and then I'll forget about it. But using this tool to help kind of tighten and lift my skin, I use mine about 3 times a week for 5 minutes, and you notice a difference. And I've shared the Blumine Face Pro. That's what this tool is called. I've shared this with you guys a number of times over the last few months, and every time I share it, you guys sell it out. It's really an amazing tool. It's very easy to use. Like I said, if you were to use it for 5 minutes, 3 times a week, you will notice a difference in like the lifting and tightening of your skin. I do love that you can get pretty fast results with it, which really will encourage you to keep using it. You don't have to wait 6 weeks to see results. You can basically see them the first time that you use it. And as someone who is prone to a bit of the jowls and the sagging here, I really love that I can use this tool to kind of lift everything, look a little more awake, feel like I look a little more youthful. It's such a great tool. And like I said, every time I share it, y'all sell it out, which tells me that you guys really love it too. And they do have a discount code that they've given me to share with you guys. It's only good for the first 100 people, but it's going to get you $70 off. So normally the Blumine Face Pro is $150, but if you click the link down below in the description box, that's going to get you $70 off. Plus, they're going to send you a free ebook that's all about like face tightening secrets. And the best part, my favorite part, is that if you don't love it, if it doesn't work for you and you don't love it, you get your money back. And really, what more can you ask for than a giant discount, and we'll give you your money back if it doesn't work and you don't love it. Win-win. Adding in my Blooming Face Pro to lift and tighten, adding a little bit of tanner. Those are kind of the main two things that I do. There's so many options out there. We see people sharing about things and all the different things that they're doing, and it can feel like, well, maybe I should try that, and maybe I should try that. I just try to stick to what works and what I can be consistent with. For me, putting in a little bit of time on the front end to do those things means that when it comes time to get dressed, I've already taken care of two of the things that I know are going to make me feel more confident when it comes time to get dressed to go to said event. I also mentioned to you that you have to take care of not just your physical body, but also your heart and your soul. And I'm going to tell you the two things that make the biggest difference for me. One is having some kind of good devotional, whether it's something that you listen to, something quick. Years ago, I shared with you my friend Lisa Whittle's podcast because she has these like 5-minute snippets that you can listen to, and they are just so encouraging and can help set the tone for your day. I also recently picked up this book that is 150 daily devotions through Psalms. This is new to me, and there is also an audiobook version of this. If you don't want to sit down, if you don't think you'll actually sit down and crack open a book, maybe you are like very audio, you need that, you can listen to this on Audible as well. And I will also link to my friend Lisa's podcast. Those are both very simple, easy to implement. That's the point, is that these things have to be actionable. And if there's a whole lot of hoopla that goes into it, we're not going to do it. We're not going to stick with it. At least I'm not. So these things have to be really easy to implement, and then you can build from there. Now, when we talk about what are you doing for your soul, what are you doing to take care of your soul as a homemaker? And while maybe we could interchange heart and soul, when I talk about like the things that just feel good in my soul, it's almost hard to even put into words. It's just the things that make you feel connected with the world around you, the things that remind you that you are in fact like a human being in the digital age, and everything has gone online. We often don't have in-person relationships. There's just a lot of things that make us feel disconnected from reality in many ways. I have to just tell you that gardening, I think, is something that every person, man, woman, child, or otherwise, should attempt to do at least once and in some kind of capacity. It is so good for your soul. When you take something from a tiny seed or even a started plant, okay, there's no shame here in going to your local nursery or Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever and buying your plants there. You will never be shamed by me for that. Go grab yourself an already started plant or a packet of seeds and grow something. Watch it go from something tiny to something that produces fruit or vegetables, that produces something for you that then you get to eat. And it's like this kind of cycle of life that we are so disconnected from. Just the act of like getting your hands, you can wear gardening gloves, I do for certain things, but maybe just for the beginning, just getting that plant set up into your container or pot, just use your bare hands, get your hands in the dirt. Doing something that is tangible, it is real in the real physical world that we live in, can make such a huge difference. And it's something that you can just tend to simply every day for a couple of minutes. If you don't have a backyard, you don't have space, it's okay. Grow something in a pot, in a container. The green stalk, I never can remember the name of it, but the green stalk, the vertical gardening container things, they're beautiful, they're so fun, they're so easy. Grow yourself a salsa garden. Grow yourself a couple tomatoes, some cilantro, maybe throw in an onion or two in there. Grow yourself stuff you need to make salsa. Maybe just grow some herbs, just some basic herbs that you can season your fresh summer salads and foods with. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just grow yourself some flowers. Maybe you don't want to eat it, although there's lots of flowers you can eat. Just grow yourself some flowers, something beautiful to look at, something that you can know that like, I did that. Like I took care of that. I grew it into something beautiful. Just the act of each week, tending to this plant, this patch of flowers, this little container garden will be so good for your soul. Of course, we have to touch on decluttering. It's such an important thing. It's such a big deal. I don't think that you have to be a minimalist to declutter, to be consistent about decluttering, to enjoy decluttering, and to be thoughtful about what you bring into your home. If you need help with decluttering, my friend Dawn, the Minimal Mom, has tons and tons and tons of videos about decluttering. She also has groups and memberships that you can join if you need somebody to like really hold your hand and walk you through it. The act of doing it, even in a habitual way, so creating a 15-minute 15-minute habit of at night for 15 minutes, you declutter some area of your home, some drawer, some, shelf, some area of your closet. Can be really, really powerful habit to get into something simply. You will feel a sense of accomplishment from the first time that you do it. And it's something that will have a lasting impact on how you feel every day. It's really, really important. The other area that I feel like often gets overlooked when we talk about decluttering is a lot of like the digital clutter, going through and unfollowing people that you find, I don't really know why I'm still following this person. Maybe this person just makes me angry all the time and it brings out a side of me I don't like, or maybe following this person just makes me feel envious too often. I'm not able to be grateful for what I have. I just feel like I'm having a hard time dealing with jealousy or envy. Like whatever the issue is, declutter digitally, the people that you're following, but also, well, let's just get really real here for a second. The flipping emails, man, they can be out of control. So 2 things that I do with emails that are very simple, something that you can implement today is 1, Instapaper. You install it as like an extension in your browser. So if you open an email and there's an article, right? Sometimes we just leave stuff in our inbox because we're like, oh, I want to come back and read that. And then maybe we never do and it gets buried. Next thing you know, you got like hundreds of unread emails or emails that are in there, but you're not sure why. Instapaper is great for saving things like that you want to be able to go back to and read later. The other thing that I implemented was kind of a system for my emails. It depends on how many emails you get and what you've got going on, but this has been really helpful for me to try to keep my general inbox pretty tidy. I get very visually overwhelmed. The way I have my inbox set up, and this is how I do this through Gmail. I don't know how it works through other email service providers, but through Gmail, this works really well for me. So I have 4 different categories on the side. So when I'm opening my emails and I'm going through them, as I get to an email, I just hit L for label and then decide which of those 4 categories it goes into and send it there. And then I can archive it and remove it from my inbox, but it stays in those folders. So the 4 folders that I have are follow up, waiting, scheduling, like to be scheduled, or to be read. So that allows me to know, okay, I have to follow up. Everything in this folder I need to follow up on. In the waiting folder is everything that maybe I've already followed up. I'm waiting for a response from that person, or maybe it's a tracking thing and I'm just waiting for the item to arrive. Then I can delete the email. Scheduling, I feel like is pretty self-explanatory. This is stuff I need to schedule or deal with in that capacity. And then the last one, like I said, is to read. That one is something that maybe takes a little bit more time. You need to sit down and actually like pay attention to and really, really read it. Again, you could also kind of interchange that with the Instapaper if it's just stuff that you want to read later. It's not important, but you want to read it later. And then my favorite button on Gmail, if you have Gmail, is the E. Hitting the E on your keyboard archives your emails. And I love this because it allows you to delete them out of your inbox, but they're not gone forever. They've just gone to the archives, which means that later, if you're like, ooh, where's that thing? You can type in, the company name or the person's name, and it'll pull up all of your archived emails. So they're not just like hanging out in a label or an inbox or something like that. They're kind of just hidden in the archives, only to be brought back up if you actually need them. So it's like deleting, but without permanently deleting something that you can never retrieve again. Now, when we talk about organizing inside of our home, not so much our digital life, but inside of our home, again, Cass at Clutterbug has a great channel with so much advice and tips. And I love that she teaches you different methods for organizing based on your personality type, and kind of how you use things in your home should explain how you organize them. And I love that. So she's got a bunch of great content and videos where you can find out more. But one of the things that I have implemented organizing wise that has helped me out a ton is to have sort of like these daily use bins. For the most part, I wear the same makeup every day. So it's just in my like everyday makeup bag that sits on my vanity. So that's the only thing that I have to open or get out. I don't have to open a bunch of drawers for a bunch of other things. Making sure that things that are getting used daily are easy to access and easy to put away has made a really big difference for me in being able to kind of just streamline the everyday things that I don't want to think about. I don't want to have to make decisions about. I just want to like open, go, do, move on. We have to talk about laundry, okay? It is basically, I think, probably the bane of everyone's existence. There's just so much laundry. At least for us, we're a family of 10, okay? There's a lot of laundry. just is the nature of the beast. It is what it is. And there are lots of different ways to tackle laundry. And I think it will, again, greatly depend on the size of your family and sort of how your family operates and what you've got going on. But we have found in our home that we must do laundry every day. We must get at least one load fully through, but we usually do a couple of loads of laundry every single day. Just doesn't work for us to have one day of the week that we tackle laundry. So spending a little bit of time on, taking a load fully through has been really, really helpful. We have also streamlined by having a laundry basket, a large one at the top of the stairs, kind of outside in the hallway for all of our kids, except for our teenagers who do their own laundry. But our younger kids, they all put their laundry in that laundry basket. So it's really easy for them to take turns bringing it down and helping to get it through the wash, dry, fold, put away cycle. Because we're doing laundry so frequently, it works for us to have one bin for quite a few children up there. But just little things like that, making sure that you're adding in one load of laundry, especially if you've got bedding to wash and other things, it can really help to kind of streamline things. And it's just a great habit to get into. But I do have two little laundry hacks and tips to share with you if you're looking for okay, I have to do laundry. How can I make this a little bit easier? Well, number one is that instead of using dryer sheets, if you want to save money, maybe you just don't want them, you don't want whatever's in them. And even with dryer sheets, your clothes can still get really staticky. It's also annoying when the clothes all stick together and then you've got a sock stuck to the back of your dress pant or whatever. You leave house with someone else's underwear stuck to, the outside of your pants. Ask me how I know. This has happened to my husband. One of the things that you can do is make an aluminum foil ball, okay? And that is your dryer ball. You can use it and use it and use it and reuse it, and it will keep the static out of your clothes. The best part is it lasts a really long time, and you'll know when it's no longer working when your clothes start to show signs of static again. But it's great, very cost effective, easy thing. The other thing that you can do is that if you want to cut your drying time in half, maybe it's hot, you don't have any place to hang stuff, you need to dry stuff, is to take a dry towel from your linen closet, not a wet one, a dry one, and put it in the dryer with your wet clothes. Putting that dry towel in with your wet clothes and things that you're drying will help those things to dry faster. Feeding people, grocery shopping, cooking, all of that can be so time consuming. So a couple of very practical things that I have started implementing to save myself time, money, etc. when it comes to food, grocery shopping, meal planning, all the things. Talk a lot about batch cooking and all of that, which is great. We're going to talk about that in a second. But batch shopping has really kind of changed the game for me, okay? I teach you how to do this in my capsule meal planning workshop, but basically what I do is if I'm meal planning for 12 weeks, because this is what I do now, is I meal plan for 12 weeks at a time, then I go on one big grocery shopping trip where I buy all of my non-perishables for that 12-week time period, or anything that can sustain in the freezer for that time period. Then the only grocery shopping I'm having to do in that 12-week period is for the fresh things, the things that can't be bought that far ahead of time. It really simplifies, it really streamlines things, and it saves me time, a lot of time. So that's one of my favorite tips, is to batch shop the non-perishables for a large period of time, if you can, as long of a period of time as you can plan for, and then just have to do your, weekly or bi-weekly grocery shopping of the fresh items only. The other tip that I would give you is to line as many things as you possibly can, whether it's crock pot liners, parchment paper liners on your baking sheets, anything you can do to prevent yourself from having to wash that big pot, pan, whatever, is something that's going to save you time. Again, you kind of always have to make the break, right, between whether it matters more to you that you're saving time, whether it matters more to you that you're saving money on these things. But for me, it's just, I really enjoy being able to lift out that liner, throw it away, or take off that parchment paper thing, throw it away. And I kick myself whenever I forget. I'm like, dang it, because then I know I'm going to have to stand there and wash that thing. So I highly recommend lining things whenever and wherever you can before cooking. And of course, making double. It's pretty simple to double almost any recipe. Making double of something, even maybe it's not something that freezes well, but it's something that you could just go ahead and put in the refrigerator and eat in a couple days from now, freezing meals and making things double so that you can freeze them and have one for later is a huge time saver. It makes all of the difference. But if you feel like, oh, I don't know that this thing I like will freeze well necessarily, you can still cook, especially like if you eat a lot of Mexican food. Always make more ground beef, seasoned, taco seasoned, whatever, ground beef or chicken or whatever it is that you need, make more of it. Put it in the fridge because you're going to use it later in the week for another recipe. So anywhere that you can batch something and double something, make more of something, only have to do something once and then eat it more than once, right? Anything that can save us time in the kitchen is a win. Remember, you don't have to do big grandiose things. You don't have to make big grandiose changes. You can start with little simple changes. In fact, that's what I would encourage you to do. And start with the things that are making you the most crazy, driving you the most nuts. But remember, don't skip taking care of yourself. Don't skip the things that bring you joy, the things that help you be the best version of you, the stable goat, help create the atmosphere, because at the end of the day, you being cranky and irritable and resentful is no good for the family. Like the kids, the husband, nobody wants you to be like that. You don't want to be like that. And so I think it's very important to do the things to take care of yourself so that you don't have to get to that place or you don't have to stay in that place. It has such an impact not only on yourself, but on everyone in your family and everyone around you. I would just encourage you to be good to yourself. It will help you be even better to those that you love.